Welcome back sa ating DBMS 1, Database Management System 1. And this is our part 1 sa midterm. Okay, so we're going to discuss about ER model, meaning Entity Relation Model, which is defined as the conceptual view of a database. It works around real-world entities and the associations among them. At view level, the ER model is considered a good option for designing databases. So, meron tayong mga concept and definition of terms na dapat ma-familiarize. Number one is ano yung entity. An entity can be a real-world object, either animate or inanimate, that can be easily identifiable. Ano example natin? School database, students, teachers, classes, and courses. Yan yung mga example ng entities. An entity set is a collection of similar types of entities. An entity set may contain entities with attribute sharing similar values. So kapag marami ka ng entity, meron ka ng tinatawag na entity set. Lahat ng entity merong tinatawag na attributes. Entities are represented by means of their properties called attributes. Ano yung attributes? Ito yung tinatawag nating properties na ina-assign natin sa member ng isang entity. For example, a student may have name, class, age as their attributes. There exists a domain or range of values that can be assigned to attributes. For example, students cannot be a numeric value. It has to be alphabetic. And student's age cannot be negative. So, ang isang attribute, other than being a property, ay meron siyang limits. So, for example, ang name, ang pangalan, obviously, hindi pwedeng maging number. At ang age, obviously, then hindi pwedeng maging negative. So, meron tayong three types of attributes. Meron tayong tinatawag na simple attribute. Pag sinabing simple attribute, those are atomic values. Hindi na pwedeng i-divide. For example, yung first name, hindi mo na pwedeng i-divide ang first name, Pero pag sinabing composite attribute, yun yung hindi atomic, meaning pwede pa siyang i-divide. For example, full name. Pag sinabing full name, pwede mo siyang i-divide sa tatlo: first name, last name, and middle name. That is the example of composite attribute. Pag sinabi namang derived attributes are the attributes that do not exist in the physical database but their values are derived from other attributes present in the database. For example, yung age, Ang age, pwede natin i-derive sa date of birth. O kaya ang salary, pwede natin i-derive from the basic salary rate, Single value attributes contain single value. For example, social security number. Multi-value attributes may contain more than one values. For example, a person can have more than one phone number or email address. So, pag sinabing single value, isa lang ang pwede mong makuha from that, Ibig sabihin, sa social security number, isa lang ang pwede mong maging social security number. Wala namang citizen na maraming social security number. Okay? So these attribute types can come together in a way like simple single-valued attributes, simple multi-valued attributes, composite single-valued attributes, or composite multi-valued attributes. Okay? Entity, set, and keys. Key is an attribute or a collection of attributes that uniquely identifies an entity among entity set. For example, the roll number of a student makes him or her identifiable among students. So, yung roll number parang student number yun. So, ang isang student number may isa lang, ang isang student may isa lang student number. So, yun ang nag-identify uniquely dun sa student na yun. So, kapag maraming attributes or set of attributes ang nagfa-function as keys, ang tawag doon ay super key. It collectively identifies an entity in an entity set. Kapag candidate key naman, it is a super key but it is a minimal super key. It is called a candidate key. Pag sinabing primary key, a primary key is one of the candidate keys chosen by the database designer to uniquely identify the entity set. So pag sinabing primary key, isa lang. Isang attribute lang ang pipiliin ng designer. Kapag marami, super key. Kapag pipili siya ng isa sa super key, one or more from the super key, then it is a candidate key. From the candidate key, you can choose the primary key. Ano yung relationship? The association among entities is called a relationship. For example, an employee works at a department, a student enrolls in a course. So yung works at yung enrolls ay tinatawag na relationship. Kapag marami kang relationship, no, at meron silang the same type, similar type, then it is called relationship set. Like entities, a relationship to can have attributes. These attributes are called descriptive attributes. Ang relationship, meron mga degrees, no? Ano yung sinasabing degrees? The number of participating entities in a relationship defines the degree of the relationship. Kung may dalawang table, may dalawang listahan, okay? Ang tawag doon ay binary, no? Pag ginawan mo sila ng relationship. Kapag tatlo, then you have a ternary. Ibig sabihin, tatlong list, tatlong database, tatlong table, ang ginawan mo ng relationship, then you have ternary relationship, no? So, tinasabing degree ay yung tinatawag nating n-ary, no? We create relationship between entities by mapping their cardinalities, no? So, cardinality defines the number of entities in one entity set, which can be associated with the number of entities of another set via relationship set, no? So, yung first first type is 1-to-1. Ibig sabihin, yung isang element sa isang element from my first list, no? Ginagawa natin ng relationship sa isa pang element from another list. Pag one-to-many naman, yung isang element sa first list, ginagawa natin ng relationship sa one or more elements sa kabilang list. Okay? Pag many-to-one, okay, yung maraming elements, no, one or more elements from the first list, ginagawa natin ng relationship from or in the second list. Pag many to many naman, okay, we can create relationships with one or more elements from the first list to the second list, no, using one or more elements also. Okay? So how do we represent entity relationships model, no? How do we model ER, no, using this approach? So we use the ER diagram, no, to design or to represent, no, the different relationships of entities, no? So first, we have to represent, no, ano yung mga symbol na nire-represent, ginagamit natin to represent the attributes and entity relationships in an ER model. So first, nire-represent natin ang entity using rectangles, no? So ito, pag nakita nyo, that means ito ay isang entity, no? So entity rin to, si teacher, projects, entity rin, no? Pag attributes, we use the ellipses, no, to represent attributes. So itong name, birth date, roll number ay attributes ng entity na student. If the attributes are composite, they are further divided in a tree-like structure. So, pag sinabing composite, remember, pwede nating i-divide into different parts, no? So, itong name na to, dinivide natin sa dalawa, first name, last name. Okay? Using the same symbol, no? Yung ellipses. Pag multi-valued naman, ang ating symbol ay double ellipse. Yan, double ellipse. Pag derived naman, we have the dash ellipse. Ito, dash. Okay? Relationships are represented by diamond-shaped box. Name of the relationship is written inside the diamond box. So this is how we represent relationships, no, between entities by using the diamond-shaped box. So we write the state or the type of relationship, no, by indicating 1 here. If this is 1-to-1, then we have 1-to-1, no? If we have 1-to-many, then we have 1-to-n. If we have many to one, then we have n to 1. If we have many to many, then we have n to n. Okay? So the lines represent the relationship, no? So we have also two types of participation constraints. Pag total participation, we represent it by using double line. Pag partial participation, we represent it as a single line. So, the error model is the power of expressing data with entities in a conceptual hierarchical manner, no? Ibig sabihin, pwedeng pataas, no? Vertically, hierarchical manner. So, as the so as the hierarchy as the hierarchy goes up, it introduces or it generalizes the view of entities as we go deep in the hierarchy. It gives us the detail of every entity included. Going up in the structure is called generalization, and going down is specialization. So from specific to general, then that is generalization. No? Pag sinabi specialization, we have the general into specific. Okay? So pabaliktad, no? Reverse. Inheritance, so kung meron tayong diagram which is from general to from specific to general, then general to specific, then we will have the what we call the inheritance, no? Okay, so pag sinabing inheritance, yung mga attributes sa taas, okay, pwede niyang ipasa sa baba. Okay, so itong inheritance, itong attributes na to, name, age, gender, ay pwede nating ipasa dito kay student at kay teacher. Okay? Pag sinabi namang abstraction, then these details, no? Yung processes natin at mga structure natin ay hindi pwedeng i-access ng user, no? Hidden yun, no? Generally hidden from the user. This process is known as the abstraction. So this is the end of our part 1, and I will see you in the next video for our part 2.